Okay, I'm about to start working on the installation of a modern stereo in the gauge cluster of a 1968 Galaxie. This is the original gauge cluster out of the Galaxie. I have a second one that I have stripped down for the project. You can see that on this original gauge cluster, someone attempted this sort of thing, I'm guessing in the mid-80s by the stylus stereo, but they just stuck this radio in there, left it loose, nothing to support it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take out the factory AM radio, which really is as simple as taking out a couple of bolts, which obviously I already have loosened for this video. So you take out this stock radio, what you're left with is a hole supported by, you can see the radio is supported by a frame. This radio is a lot heavier than the one I'm going to be putting in. What I'm going to do, if you're a purist, avert your eyes right now, because I'm going to be cutting this radio apart and I'm going to be using the chassis, and in the hole in the chassis that I cut, I'm going to be installing my new stereo. It's a JVC KD X560BT. The reason I chose this stereo is because it does not have a CD player. It does have front inputs, has a USB and an auxiliary input, plus it's Bluetooth, which was the most important thing to me. It's a tuner, and it actually has an LCD screen right here that you can use to connect a backup camera. So one of the harder parts about this installation is going to be dealing with the gauge cluster plexiglass or Lexan front that they put on these 68s. That's why there is no aftermarket stereo made for these. You just gotta either leave the old stereo in place, get new guts put in your old stereo, which is like 600 bucks, or you gotta cut it to fit. So I'm gonna be polishing this one a little bit first, then I'll cut it to fit, probably with a coping saw, and I'll show you what it looks like when my process is done.